Ladies and gentlemen, we have a major breaking development regarding the government leakers who have been tipping off violent illegal immigrant gang members about upcoming ICE raids. For weeks now, we've been sitting here wondering who inside of our federal government has been working against the American people, actively helping criminal illegal immigrants evade justice. Well, folks, as of today, we finally have the answer. You see, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem has just identified the not one but two individuals responsible for leaking sensitive information regarding upcoming ICE raids. And get this, these leakers weren't just random low-level staffers. No, these leakers were working inside of the Department of Homeland Security itself. What that means is that these leakers were working in the very department that's responsible for protecting Americans. And because of their leaks, not only were countless violent illegal immigrants able to escape, but our hardworking ICE agents were needlessly put at risk. But folks, before we talk about how all of this happened, let's take a look at this special report that really breaks it all down.
Secretary Kristi Noem says that they have identified the leakers who exposed the locations of upcoming immigrations and custom enforcement raids. This is a big deal, and our Bill Melugin has got the details. Bill.
Yeah, John, good afternoon to you. Just a short time ago, DHS officials confirmed to Fox News they say they have identified two people within DHS who they say they have caught leaking information about ICE operations to different targets and then put those operations in jeopardy. We got a video from DHS Secretary Kristi Noem herself making this announcement, was just sent over to us. Take a look.
Everyone, I wanted to give you a quick update. We have identified two leakers of information here at the Department of Homeland Security who have been telling individuals about our operations and putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy. We plan to prosecute these two individuals and hold them accountable for what they've done. And we're going to continue to do all that we can to keep America safe.
You hear that? Kristi Noem is taking this situation head on, and she's making it crystal clear these traitors will be held accountable. And thank God for that. Because you know what? Let's be honest here. These leakers didn't just betray the Department of Homeland Security. They didn't just betray ICE. They betrayed the American people. They actively made a decision to side with violent illegal immigrants, gang members, cartel associates, human traffickers over the safety and security of their fellow Americans. And you know what? Let's talk about what all of this really means. Because here's the deal, folks. Let's look at how the U.S. Constitution actually defines treason. Treason is when an American citizen gives aid and comfort to an enemy. And guess what? Under the Trump administration, these violent illegal immigrant cartel and gang members are now terminologically designated as terrorist organizations. Which means these deep state leakers inside of our government may very well be guilty of treason. Because think about it, folks. These leakers inside of the Department of Homeland Security didn't just leak this information to random people. No, they chose to leak this information to violent illegal immigrant cartel terrorist gang members. And on top of that, in doing so, they put the lives of our ICE agents at direct risk. Seriously, imagine if one of these ICE officers had walked straight into an ambush or a trap or a setup because of what these leakers did. This wasn't some minor bureaucratic infraction. This was outright aiding and abetting criminals. But okay, folks, let's talk about what the Department of Homeland Security is actually going to do about this.
And a DHS spokesperson also sent us the following statement on record, which says, quote, "We are preparing to refer these perpetrators to the DOJ for felony prosecutions. These individuals face up to 10 years in federal prison. We will find and root out all leakers. They will face prison time, and we will get justice for the American people."
So there you have it. These two leakers are now going to get referred to Pam Bondi's Department of Justice, where they'll likely face 10 years in a federal prison. And you know what? Between you and me, I think that's more of a slap on the wrist. If you ask me, betraying our country, leaking national security information, and actively working to aid violent criminals should carry a much harsher punishment than a simple 10 years in federal prison. Because let's be real here, if ICE agents had actually lost their lives because of these leaks, this would be a very different conversation. And that's not even some crazy, far-fetched idea. If you give sensitive tactical information to terrorists, you are setting up law enforcement officers to get ambushed. It's pretty clear-cut. And for what? To protect people that shouldn't even be in the country in the first place. Folks, between you and me, I personally think that the best way to deal with traitors to the United States of America is to be a little bit more medieval with our punishments. Because, like I said, 10 years in a federal prison, that's pretty much a slap on the wrist. But everyone, you know what's even crazier about all of this? Right at this very moment, members of the radical progressive left are actually condemning Kristi Noem for holding these people accountable. That's right, the progressives are furious that these traitors are about to be prosecuted. But hey, should we even really be surprised? After all, keep in mind, we have sitting members of Congress like AOC and Ilhan Omar who have been actively working to help illegal immigrants avoid getting apprehended by ICE. We've seen them on social media literally telling illegal immigrants how to avoid detection. We've also seen the radical progressives outright calling to abolish ICE altogether as if immigration enforcement is some type of human rights violation. And now, a lot of these crazy progressives are actually siding with the government officials who leaked classified information to terrorist gang members. Folks, this is a testament to just how rotten and frankly anti-American many people in Washington, D.C. have really become. But I'll tell you what, it's not just a few bad apples here and there, it's pretty much the entire progressive wing of the Democratic Party that's actively fighting against the safety and security of American citizens. So you know what? Thank God that now we finally have an administration in the White House that's willing to actually take action against this sort of behavior. President Trump, Kristi Noem, and the rest of his administration are finally putting an end to all of this nonsense. They're finally holding these deep state traitors accountable, they're cleaning out the deep state, and they're actually prioritizing the safety of American citizens over all of this radical progressive ideology. And folks, that is why we elected President Trump. But you know what? Let's be honest here, folks. If these two DHS leakers got caught, do you really think that they're the only ones? How many more deep state traitors are still lurking inside of our federal government, waiting to tip off criminals, waiting to sabotage America from the inside? And so once again, folks, this is why this swamp needs to be drained. But you know what, folks? Let's try to recap all of this. Here's the real takeaway. 2 leakers inside of the DHS were caught tipping off violent illegal immigrant gang members about upcoming ICE raids. They put the lives of ICE agents at risk, and as a result, countless criminals escaped. Kristi Noem has confirmed that they'll be prosecuted under the DOJ, likely facing 10 years in federal prison, and in response, the radical left is losing their minds, calling Kristi Noem the bad guy in the situation. But folks, here's the real truth. Anyone that's siding with these leakers is really siding with cartel gang member terrorists. So once again, folks, thank God that this sort of behavior is finally being rooted out, exposed, and punished. But now, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and additional updates relating to all of this. So if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video, so please go down below and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. While you're down there, please like the video if you liked it. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.